Martell Holt gets so stuck on whether people find him handsome or not is wild. I mean, did you hear that part? Somebody said they thought Martell was handsome and he just latched on to that like it was the biggest thing ever. Why is that so important? To him, why is that his focus when there are much bigger conversations going on? Kimmy Scott jumped in, and honestly, I have to agree with her because it feels like Martell doesn't have respect for anyone around him. He plays up this ego, this need for validation instead of focusing on what really matters. Keep watching, because this ties into some of the deeper conversations later in the episode where Martell exposes more about his mindset. And speaking of mindset, let's talk about the way people are still side-eyeing Martell's dynamic with Arionne Curry. The fact that Arionne's name is still coming up this much, the fact that her presence continues to linger around the storyline tells you everything you need to know. It's messy, it's complicated, and it's not going away anytime soon. Kimmy even made a comment about not calling Arionne a side chick because she has a name, but fans saw right through that. A lot of viewers felt like Kimmy was almost trying to normalize Arionne's place in Martell's life. And honestly, people weren't here for it. It raised questions about Kimmy's credibility because how can you sit there and defend someone who's caused so much hurt in Melodiati Cherie's life? Keep watching because this conversation about Arionne doesn't stop here. It gets even more complicated later. Now, here's where things took a sharp turn. Maurice, Scott, and Martell had a sit-down, and the way that conversation played out was something else. Maurice asked Martell straight up about seeing certain things, and the way Martell responded had people in disbelief. He started talking about his anatomy, saying that there are certain unique things you wouldn't forget. Like what? Who even brings that up in a serious conversation? It was messy, it was inappropriate, and it left everyone questioning what the real point of the conversation even was. But let me tell you, Martell wasn't done stirring the pot. So don't skip ahead, because what he said next made everything even messier. While all this was happening, Maurice Scott's name came up too, because, let's be honest, Martell has always had this weird jealousy toward Maurice. It's been obvious. People have been saying it for seasons now, and you could see it again in this episode. It's like, Martell can't stand that Maurice has his own thing going on, his own influence, and his own position in the group. And instead of focusing on fixing his own issues, Martell just projects all that energy outward. Keep watching till the end, because the way Martell tries to flip things back onto Maurice and Maurice later on is wild. And listen, the situation didn't stop there. Martell actually told Maurice to sue him and Arionne Curry. Yes, you heard that, right? He called Maurice's bluff, Martell said. Sue us, and reminded Maurice that he's supposed to be an attorney. And then Maurice basically admitted that suing them wouldn't be worth anything because he wouldn't get anything out of it. That was a big checkmate moment for Martell. For once, he actually shut Maurice down in the middle of an argument. It's rare that we see Maurice at a loss for words, but that moment definitely had him stuck. Martell may be messy, but in that exact second, he knew how to play the game. Don't click away because this lawsuit talk connects to even more drama. Later in the season now, if you think that was enough to cause chaos, Destiny also popped into the mix. Destiny posted something on her Instagram that raised eyebrows. She liked a clip that showed Kimmy trying to get Maurice to check Martell, and that small action made people wonder if Destiny was picking sides. If you've been watching the last few episodes, you know there's been a lot of tension about who Destiny would side with if Letitia Scott asked her to choose. And now, seeing her like that post has fans whispering that maybe Destiny is leaning toward Kimmy and Latisha's corner. But is it genuine, or is it just her way of staying connected to the group? That's the big question, and fans aren't letting it go. Stick around because the way Destiny aligns herself could shift some dynamics moving forward. And here's the thing. Martell tried to turn the tables and claimed that he's tired of always being painted as the villain. Maurice told him flat out that he's been playing the villain role so long that he's become comfortable being seen that way. And honestly, Maurice wasn't lying. Martell has leaned into that villain narrative because he feels like everyone's always against him. But instead of showing growth, instead of pulling back, he just doubles down. And when he says he hates the negativity, it's hard to believe him because his actions keep pulling him back into the mess. Don't go anywhere, because later I'll talk about how this villain role Martell plays connects to his ongoing drama with Melodioti and Arrion. Speaking of Melodioti, let's not forget how her presence continues to loom over everything. Even when she's not in the room, even when she's not on the show as much, people can't stop bringing her name up. Carlos King himself has admitted multiple times that the door is always open for Melodioti to return, and fans see that as proof that the show's ratings and energy aren't the same without her. You can upload full episodes to YouTube all you want, but viewers know that Melodioti is the heartbeat of this franchise. And that's why so many fans feel protective of her, especially when Martell, Arionne, and even other cast members continue to bring her name into situations where it doesn't belong. Keep watching because the Melodioti versus Arrion narrative is far from over. And I'll explain why the producers might actually be trying to set the stage for Arrion to step into the spotlight. And you know what's even more frustrating? The way kids get dragged into all of this. Kimmy made a point about protecting kids and family, but fans weren't buying it. People pointed out that her own stepson has said he views Maurice more like a big brother than a father, and that he actually looks at Marcia as more of a father figure. That raised serious questions about Kimmy's household and her credibility when she talks about parenting and protecting kids. If you can't manage your own family dynamics, how are you going to sit there and lecture others about theirs? Don't skip this part, because the conversation about kids, family, and accountability is one of the biggest reasons fans stay glued to this show. And let's be real, the double standards are loud here. When a man steps up to raise a child that isn't biologically his, he gets praised, and that's fine. But when a mother doesn't demand that same level of effort from her husband for her own child, suddenly it becomes excusable in people's eyes. That double standard is dangerous. Sends the wrong message about love, family, and partnership. A blended family should never feel like a competition between kids and spouses. But that's exactly what's happening here. And you already know fans are not going to stay quiet about that. Keep watching until the very end because I'm going to break down how these double standards are affecting not just the cast, but the way fans are reacting to them in real time. The truth is, kids remember everything. They remember who was there for them and who wasn't. They remember who chose them and who didn't. And those memories don't just fade away. They shape how they see relationships in the future. That's why these conversations on love and marriage Huntsville matter so much. They're not just drama for the cameras. They're lessons about accountability, respect, and love. Whether it's Martell refusing to take responsibility, Kimmy